Have you ever paused while getting dressed and caught a faint but strange scent, just enough to make you wonder, is that me? You're not alone, and there's absolutely no need to feel ashamed. Many older women experience the subtle change, and it's not because of poor hygiene or anything you've done wrong. The truth is, some of our daily bathroom habits we've carried for years thinking they were good, may be silently working against us. Today, we're going to uncover 8 everyday routines that doctors say could be making older women smell less fresh, even when they believe they're doing everything right. And don't worry, none of this is about shaming. It's about knowledge, gentle awareness, and self-care. So if you've ever wanted to feel a little fresher, a little lighter, and a lot more confident in your own skin, you're in the right place. Welcome to Forever Strong Seniors, where we help you age with grace, wisdom, and dignity. Let's dive in. Let's start with one of the most common mistakes that many women don't even realize they're making: over-cleansing the intimate area. For years, like many women, I believed that if I wasn't using fragrant soap and lathering thoroughly down there every single day, I wasn't truly clean. I remember my shelves being lined with feminine washes that promised freshness, with floral names and pastel labels. But no one ever told me, and maybe no one told you either, that these products, while well marketed, can actually do more harm than good. You see, the vaginal area is a delicate, self-regulating system. It has its own natural balance of bacteria and acidity, usually between a pH of 3.8 to 4.5. This internal balance keeps things running smoothly, preventing infections, minimizing odors, and protecting against harmful bacteria. But when we introduce soaps that are heavily scented or contain alcohol, we're disrupting that environment. Imagine throwing a wrench into a finely tuned machine. That's essentially what we're doing when we scrub and soak too aggressively. What happens next? Well, the good bacteria get washed away. The pH balance shifts, and suddenly, you might find yourself dealing with recurring discomfort, irritation, or even infections like bacterial vaginosis or yeast overgrowth. Not because you're dirty, but because you're trying too hard to be clean. It's ironic, isn't it? The truth is, the vagina cleans itself. It produces mucus that flushes out dead cells and unwanted bacteria naturally. You don't need to go in with wipes, soaps, or sprays. For the outer area, the vulva, a gentle rinse with warm water is usually all you need. If you do feel the need to use something, go for a fragrance-free, pH-balanced cleanser made specifically for sensitive skin, and only use it on the external area. One of the biggest lessons I learned from my gynecologist was to trust my body. The less I interfered with it, the better it functioned. And once I let go of the idea that more soap equals more freshness, I noticed a difference, not just in how I felt, but in my confidence and comfort. So next time you're in the shower, try taking a gentler approach. Your body will thank you. Now, let's talk about another sneaky source of lingering odor, something most of us overlook without thinking: our towels. I used to hang my towel after a shower and reuse it all week, without giving it much thought. I mean, I was clean when I used it, right? So the towel must be clean too. That's what I told myself, until one day I noticed that no matter how fresh I felt stepping out of the shower, a faint musty smell would follow me around, and it wasn't from my body. It turns out that towels are excellent at holding onto moisture, especially when they're left hanging in a warm, steamy bathroom. This dampness creates the perfect breeding ground for bacteria and mildew, even if the towel looks clean to the eye. Every time you use that towel again, you're reintroducing that microbial buildup back onto your clean skin, undoing all the care you just gave yourself in the shower. Dermatologists recommend washing your bath towel after every 3 to 4 uses. But if you live in a humid area or have a bathroom with poor ventilation, no windows, or a weak fan, you might need to wash it even more frequently, possibly after every 2 uses. That might sound like a lot, but the payoff is noticeable. I found it helpful to rotate between 3 towels, one I'm using, one that's drying, and one fresh in the cabinet. And here's another tip. Make sure your towel dries completely between uses. Spread it out on a towel bar. Don't bunch it up on a hook. If your bathroom tends to stay damp, a small dehumidifier can work wonders in keeping things dry and fresh. After I made these small changes, washing more frequently, rotating towels, letting them dry properly, I noticed that the musty smell disappeared. My skin felt fresher, and even my bathroom smelled cleaner. It's such a simple shift, but it makes a big difference in your daily comfort. In the next part, we'll talk about another spot that often gets ignored, our feet, and how they might be contributing to unwanted odors more than we realize. But before we go, I'd love to hear from you. Were you surprised by how soap or towels could be working against you? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep exploring our videos here at Forever Strong Seniors. You deserve to feel confident, clean, and radiant every single day. Let's move on to something we often forget exists until there's a problem: our feet. Think about it. How much attention do your feet really get in your daily routine? For a long time, mine got the bare minimum. I'd let the water run over them in the shower, maybe give them a quick swipe with soap, and call it a day. They were clean enough, I thought. They weren't muddy. They didn't hurt. So what was the big deal? But then I started noticing a sour, unpleasant odor coming from my shoes, especially on warm days or after a simple walk. And it wasn't about sweat. Some days, I hadn't even been particularly active. I felt embarrassed, frustrated, and puzzled. It turns out, there's a simple reason behind this, and it's especially common in older adults. As we age, the skin's natural process of shedding slows down. That means more dead skin cells can accumulate, especially around the heels, the soles, and between the toes. Combine that with moisture, because feet sweat more than you think, thanks to over 250,000 sweat glands, and you've got the perfect environment for odor-causing bacteria to thrive. And if you're wearing socks or closed shoes, that warm, dark space only makes things worse. Once I realized this, I completely changed how I cared for my feet. Now, every shower includes a full minute dedicated to them. I use a soft washcloth and a gentle, fragrance-free soap to clean all the nooks and crannies, especially between the toes. About once a week, I use a pumice stone or foot file to gently remove dead skin buildup, focusing on areas like the heels where thickened skin tends to collect. It doesn't take much time, but the difference is noticeable. What made the biggest impact, though, was what I did after the wash. Drying. Thoroughly. Every toe, every crease. I use a clean, dry towel and take my time, especially during the warmer months. When I wear shoes for extended periods, I sprinkle a little antifungal foot powder into my socks to keep moisture under control. This simple addition made a huge difference, not just in how my feet smelled, but how they felt. And beyond odor, keeping your feet clean and dry is essential for overall health. For seniors, especially those with diabetes or circulatory issues, neglected feet can lead to infections, cracks, or worse. Treating them well isn't vanity, it's protection. A little extra care in the shower and some breathable footwear can go a long way in keeping your foundation healthy and fresh. Now, while we're on the topic of bathroom routines, let's look at a habit that might seem harmless, but is surprisingly unhygienic: flushing the toilet with the lid open. It sounds silly at first, doesn't it? I remember the first time someone told me about this. I laughed. What's the big deal? It all goes down the drain. Or so I thought. But science tells a different story. When you flush with the lid up, a fine spray, called a toilet plume, is released into the air. This invisible mist contains microscopic particles of whatever was in the bowl: bacteria, viruses, even traces of waste or chemical cleaners. These particles can travel as far as 6 feet and linger in the air for minutes or more. It's a little unsettling, especially when you realize what's nearby: your toothbrush, your skincare products, your clean towels, all sitting there exposed. It's not just about grossing you out. These tiny particles settle on surfaces, and if you're standing nearby while flushing, they might even land on your skin or be inhaled. When I read about this, I immediately started closing the lid every single time. And let me tell you, within days, my bathroom smelled fresher. It felt cleaner, even though I hadn't changed anything else about my cleaning routine. Closing the lid takes just a second, but it keeps your space and your belongings a whole lot more hygienic. I also began storing my toothbrush inside a cabinet, just to be safe. It's a small act of awareness that has a big payoff, especially when we're already working so hard to maintain our personal freshness and comfort. Speaking of comfort, let's touch on something many of us don't think twice about: what we wear to bed. More specifically, wearing the same underwear you wore all day, right into the night. It seems harmless, right? You didn't go running or sweating. Maybe you were just relaxing at home. So why bother changing? The truth is, even if you've had a calm, peaceful day, your body still produces natural moisture, oils, and sweat. Your underwear collects all of that throughout the day. Now imagine lying down in that same pair for 8 more hours. That's a long time to trap heat, bacteria, and moisture close to your skin, especially in a warm, enclosed area. This can lead to odor, irritation, and discomfort by morning. And for women with sensitive skin or underlying conditions, it can even raise the risk of infections. One of the easiest ways to stay fresh overnight is to change into a clean, breathable pair of underwear before bed, preferably made of cotton, which allows airflow and absorbs moisture. Even better, for those who feel comfortable with it, going without underwear at night can give your skin a chance to breathe freely and reset. Once I started switching to fresh undergarments, or skipping them entirely on cooler nights, I noticed an immediate difference. I woke up feeling cleaner and more refreshed. It was like giving my body permission to rest without anything clinging to it from the day. And that's the beauty of these habits. They're gentle changes, not drastic overhauls, not expensive solutions, just small, intentional shifts in our routines that help us feel more like ourselves. Comfortable, confident, clean. In our next section, we'll talk about a part of the bathroom that often hides in plain sight, and how something as small as your trash bin might be quietly working against your best efforts. But for now, I'd love to know, have you ever tried switching your underwear before bed, or closing the toilet lid after flushing? Did you notice a change? Share your thoughts in the comments, and stay with us here at Forever Strong Seniors. The journey to feeling fresh and fabulous after 60 continues in the next part. You won't want to miss it. Let's now turn our attention to something small, often overlooked, yet surprisingly powerful: the bathroom trash bin. It's one of those things that quietly sits in the corner, faithfully collecting tissues, cotton swabs, hygiene products, and other odds and ends. We might empty it once a week or whenever it looks full, but rarely do we stop to think, when was the last time I actually cleaned the bin? I'll be honest, for a long time, I never gave it a second thought. I lined it with a plastic bag, tossed things in, and emptied it when needed. It seemed simple and sanitary enough. But one day, while tidying up my bathroom, I noticed a faint sour odor that seemed to linger even after wiping down the counters and mopping the floor. The culprit? That quiet little bin. Here's the issue. Even if you use liners, small leaks or bits of moisture from tissues, pads, or even damp cotton balls can seep through and collect at the bottom of the bin. When the lid closes, it traps in that moisture and warmth, exactly what bacteria and mildew love. Over time, this can create a subtle but persistent odor that no air freshener can mask. Once I realized this, I made a small shift in my routine. Now, I empty the bathroom bin every few days, even if it isn't full. Once a week, I give it a proper wipe down with a gentle disinfectant or a vinegar water mix, paying close attention to the bottom and the lid. For a fresh scent boost, I sprinkle a little baking soda inside the empty bin or add a drop of essential oil like lavender or eucalyptus on a cotton pad at the bottom before putting in a new liner. These tiny changes take less than 5 minutes, but they've made my bathroom feel fresher, more inviting, and more truly clean. It's one of those things you don't realize is affecting your environment until you fix it, and then you wonder why you didn't start sooner. Now let's talk about comfort, specifically the comfort we wrap around ourselves after a relaxing shower, the beloved bathrobe. There's something cozy and familiar about slipping into your robe after bathing, especially in the cooler months. It feels like a warm hug, a reward for taking care of yourself. But here's a gentle question. When was the last time you washed your bathrobe? Don't worry, you're not alone if you had to pause and think. I used to go weeks, sometimes even months, without giving mine a proper wash. After all, it's only worn when we're clean, right? It feels clean, and it smells okay at first. But over time, I started to notice that faint musty smell clinging to my skin, even right after shower. It was baffling, until I realized it wasn't me. It was the robe. When we step out of the shower, our skin is damp. That moisture gets transferred into the robe, especially in the armpits and collar area. If the robe doesn't dry fully between uses, or if it's left bunched up on a hook in a steamy bathroom, the fabric stays moist. That's when bacteria, mildew, and even mold begin to grow, hidden in those plush fibers. I started rotating between two robes and made a commitment to wash each one weekly. I also made sure to hang them in a well-ventilated spot where they could dry completely between uses. The change was almost immediate. My robe smelled fresh again, like clean laundry, and that lingering off smell on my skin disappeared. It's a simple fix, but it matters. After all, your post-shower robe should add to your sense of cleanliness, not take away from it. And just like clean sheets or fresh towels, a clean robe adds a touch of luxury to your day that feels well-deserved. That brings us to the final habit in today's section, one that even surprised me when I learned about it: forgetting to properly clean your underarms after shaving. It sounds strange, right? You just shaved. Shouldn't they be clean? But there's a little-known step here that makes a world of difference. When we shave our underarms, we're not just removing hair. We're also exfoliating the skin, scraping away dead skin cells, leftover deodorant, and bacteria. But here's the thing. Those things don't magically wash away with a rinse of water. If you don't take an extra moment to gently cleanse the area, all of that debris stays on your skin. It settles into the freshly shaved surface and, ironically, can make odor worse than before. This was a game changer for me. I began making a conscious effort to gently wash under my arms after shaving, using a soft cloth and warm water to wipe away any remaining residue. I don't scrub because the skin is sensitive right after shaving. Just a gentle wipe is enough. Then I pat the area dry and give it a few minutes before applying deodorant or anything else. Since making that change, I've noticed that my underarms feel fresher for longer. That slight odor that used to creep in by the afternoon, it's gone. And my skin feels calmer too. No more itching or redness like I sometimes got before. It's such a small adjustment, but it creates a noticeable difference in how you feel throughout the day. When we think about staying fresh and confident, it's not about doing more or using more products. It's about understanding what our body needs, and sometimes what it doesn't. So far, we've explored habits from head to toe, from towels to trash bins, from bathrobes to bedtime routines. And each of these, when approached with a bit more care, brings us closer to that quiet confidence that only comes from feeling clean, light, and at ease in your own skin. In the final part of this video, we'll wrap everything up, revisit the most important takeaways, and talk about how to make these new habits easy to stick with. I'll also share a few questions to get us all talking in the comments, because this is a journey we're on together. Until then, take a moment to reflect. Is there a habit you're ready to change? Or one you've already improved? Share your experience below. And remember to subscribe to Forever Strong Seniors so you don't miss the final part. You deserve to feel fresh and fabulous every single day. We've come a long way together in this conversation. Thank you for staying with me. By now, you've probably realized that smelling fresh and feeling confident as we age has far less to do with expensive perfumes or strong soaps, and much more to do with gentle awareness. These 8 bathroom habits we've explored are not signs of neglect. They're simply things we weren't taught to question. And now that we know better, we can feel better too. Let's quickly revisit what we've uncovered. We began with the importance of respecting the body's natural balance, especially when it comes to our intimate areas. Overwashing can do more harm than good, and trusting your body's self-cleaning design can actually keep you fresher. Then we looked at towels, a hidden culprit that can reintroduce bacteria onto your skin, if not cleaned regularly and dried thoroughly. From there, we gave our feet the love and care they've long deserved, realizing that exfoliation, proper drying, and breathable shoes can eliminate embarrassing odor and improve overall foot health. We also talked about the surprisingly risky habit of flushing with the toilet lid up, spreading microscopic particles throughout the bathroom. Just closing that lid can reduce contamination dramatically. Then we explored nighttime underwear choices and how a simple change before bed can give your skin the breathing space it needs for a fresher start to the next day. The bathroom bin, though small and humble, can silently work against you if not cleaned and maintained regularly. We showed how a little vinegar, baking soda, and routine can make a world of difference. Your bathrobe? That cozy friend that welcomes you after a shower might be harboring more than just warmth. Washing it weekly and rotating it with a second one can return it to its proper role, comfort, not odor. And finally, we discussed the often missed step of underarm hygiene after shaving. That one mindful cleanse post-shave helps remove lingering debris and keeps you fresher for longer. None of these changes are dramatic. None require a trip to the store or a complete lifestyle overhaul. They're simply quiet shifts, thoughtful little choices we can make each day. And as someone who's made these adjustments over time, I can tell you this. It feels like reclaiming a part of yourself. The part that says, I matter. The part that says, I care enough to nurture this body I live in. Aging brings wisdom, experience, and clarity, but it can also bring changes to our skin, our routines, and our sense of comfort. Rather than feeling frustrated or embarrassed, we can choose to be curious, to adapt, and to treat ourselves with the kindness we offer others. Your body has carried you through decades of life. It deserves ease, breathability, and attention. Before we end, I'd love to invite you to reflect. Which of these habits was the most surprising to you? Is there one change you're ready to try starting today? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and your story might inspire another woman watching this video right now. If this conversation has been helpful for you, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe. We have many more heart-to-heart videos on senior wellness, personal care, and joyful aging coming your way right here on Forever Strong Seniors. So here's to small changes that make a big difference, to bathrobes that smell like sunshine, to feet that feel free, and to you, fresh, confident, and embracing this beautiful chapter of life with grace. Thank you for spending this time with me. And until next time, take gentle care of yourself. You deserve it.